Hello guys and welcome back. Today we are going to be going over what games we like best at two players. It's going to be a great video to bring to you guys around this time of the year where people are doing a couple of things.
Romantic.
Friends things, Galentine things, all the things that involve two people. So,
let's go ahead and
get
right into it.
We're going to be going over our top 10 games, but we did have two games we just did not agree on. So,
which happens
that it be
every
like
once in a while.
Yeah.
Like 3% of the time.
So,
these are our honorable mentions, and we wanted to mention also that these games, there's some that can only be played at 2, and then there's some that have higher player counts, but we just prefer these games at 2, except for one. There is one that we prefer at 2 and higher, but we'll get into that. So my first game, which is my honorable mention, is Splendor Duel. And for me, I really like this game because it's better than the original Splendor, in my opinion. It has more going on, but it's still an easy game for travel because of its size. And in my opinion, there is a little bit more strategy involved than the regular Splendor. It's not one of my favorite games ever, but I think it is a fun a two-player game.
And my honorable mention is Nemalia. I don't really know how to say this one, but in this game you are building an animal reserve, and there's different like scoring conditions you're working on, and they change each round. This is a really fun one to play at 2-player. I don't think I've played it at a higher player count, so I'm not sure how that would
I think it'd be fine.
Work, but it's a really fun one. I think it is great for 2-player for like an easier small box game.
And travel.
And for travel. We've traveled with this many times. It's perfect.
We are going from, in our opinion, lightest to heaviest. I did not switch mine around, but I still think that this one works.
That's definitely the lightest.
This one here is Dungeon Mayhem, and this is one that I think is great for 2 players, but we have played it at 4 players, and I think that it would be great all the way up to 6. We have the expansion, which is the monsters, that allows you to play with many more players, but we have played this on many travel trips, and it's a really nice, easy card game that's super like fast to explain, easy to understand, but you could play over and over again, and I'm always entertained. It has enough going on, but not too much going on.
Okay.
And the expansion, they are so fun, so funny, but this one is great for travel, and I think that these characters specifically are great for 2 players.
And then my latest one on my stackaroo is Turf War. In this game, you are building your yard and fighting with your neighbors. We've played this at, I think, 4. We played it at 3, 4, and 2, and 2 just kicks it right out of the park. It is the best at 2-player. You get the most done. It's just fun.
And it's great for travel.
It is also literally this big. This is the whole game, so perfect for travel.
Yeah, it's a good one. Next on the list, we have a little Dice Throne, which is best at 2 players. They say you can play it up to 6, but you can play on teams, and then there is like also you can battle each other. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's good any above 2. If I'm doing above 2, we're going to do like a tournament style. It is a pretty easy to learn game. Each character does range in difficulty. So if you haven't ever played Dice Throne, I would definitely pick up one that has a lower hero complexity. But overall, this one is one that Nick and I have taken on romantic vacations and loved playing. And me and Hannah have played it, and I think that it's definitely a favorite for 2 players.
My next up is Forest Shuffle, and this game I've played easily over like 500 games of it, which is kind of embarrassing, but it is one that I will only play at 2 players. Like, I've played it a couple of times at 3, and it's like fine, but
we played it with the whole game group too.
Yeah,
it was not fun.
It's just not fun. Like, you don't. It's another one of those games where like the more players you have, the less you are able to do, and like I just don't think that's fun. So it is one that you're like building out a forest and getting different animals and critters and trying to make great combos.
It's a very unique game.
Very unique. It is so fun. And yeah, me and Andre got trapped at the airport for about 6,872 hours, and we played an equal amount of games of this while sitting there.
It was very good. It was very fun. Very fond memories.
Yeah, hold a special place in the heart. But I highly suggest this for 2 players. And it's unique, but not difficult to learn.
And it's great for travel because the box is like a lot of room.
Yeah, it's just basically cards. You don't even really need the clearing.
No,
piece.
that's another great one for travel as well. I really love Seven Wonders Duel. I like it way more than Seven Wonders, despite the boys prefer Seven Wonders
The
because
boys
I think
always
it's like
just love
simple.
Seven Wonders.
And they like it. I think it's because it's simple, it's quick, it's easy. It's like a no, like if you lose, it's like, whatever. It was like a 15-minute game. But Seven Wonders Duel is, I feel like, a little bit heavier than the original Seven Wonders. There's a lot more going on.
Especially when you accidentally play on Heartball.
Yeah, we sometimes just are a little bit on the silly pants as far as rules go. We just like we forget.
We think we know what's going on and we don't bother to check.
Yeah, and then it just goes really downhill. But this one's really fun. It's a good one. It's another good one for travel that I feel like it packs a punch. It feels like a good game for the size of the box. It doesn't feel like some of the other games are a little bit like easy and quick and like fun. This one has a little bit more, I think, like stakes.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these games are either really easy or really hard.
Yeah, there's no in between.
Besides this.
Yeah, this is a good one, and it's fun. And if you like Seven Wonders, it's a great like alternative, and it's good to play it 2-player because they don't really recommend Seven Wonders for 2 people with like the hand passing and everything. So, a good one.
My next one up is Obsession. This is a really fun game where you are like running in a state basically. We have, I think, played this at 4-player, and it was
So
a
long.
long time. But I do think the concept of this game is fun. I think like the placing the tiles underneath is like different.
It's just like a very long turn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps to your turn, which is I think fine whenever you're playing with 2 people.
Yeah, there's 8 steps to your turn. So when you're playing with a lot of people
And a lot of people who are not prepared.
AKA our game group. But yeah, so I think like I don't even think I would like to play it one-on-one with anybody but you out of like the group because they just don't know what's going on ever. But it is so fun when you do know what's going on and you're not spending 6 days waiting for your turn.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we haven't played it in a while, but it's definitely a.
We played it recently.
No, we haven't.
We did.
When?
Whenever we forgot to move the turn thing. It was only like a month or 2 ago.
I have to look that up. I feel like that was a while ago.
No, it's definitely recently.
Okay.
It was a good time.
Yeah, again, these are at least like in the same team.
Yeah, wow. We could do a themed game night with these. This one is Beer and Bread, which I feel like I'm like the queen over here of like specifically 2-player games for the most part. But this is a 2-player only game. And I got this because people were really raving about it. It's also by Capstone Games, which is who makes or published Ark Nova, which also drew me in. But this game here, I was kind of like really surprised with how much it felt, like how like much you got for how little of the box.
It feels heavy, even though it's a really small box. I feel like with small box games, I expect them to be like
light, fun, airy, fresh. This felt like a full board game.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a lot was going on, and it was really well thought out. And it's another multi-use cards. We need to play this again soon.
For sure.
Another multi-use card situation, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's not used enough.
Mm-hmm.
In games where you have cards that you can use in different ways, and I think that makes the game feel more replayable, like you have more options. And I feel like for this size of a box, it's one of the best games, like as far as being just like substance is there.
I totally agree.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on Beer and Bread. It's a good one. You're making some beers
and some breads
and some breads.
Distilled, you are making some liquors. This is just a really fun game, but again, this is a very long game. If you're playing with 5 players, it says that it's 30 minutes per player, so that's 2.5 hours if you're playing with 5 people, which we have, and it was pretty much our whole game night.
Yeah.
So I just simply don't recommend, but it is so fun. I love all of like the different characters who all have different power-ups and different like secret family recipes.
I'd be okay with this one at 3 players.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it at 3.
No, but it doesn't. I think also with these games, if we're recommending it at 2 and it goes higher, it's not bringing anything more to the table at the higher player counts as well.
This does have some parts of your turn are simultaneous, so I think that makes it like sort of lean in a little bit more like to possibly 3-player, but I think 4 or more is not that it's bad, it's just
boring.
Very long.
Yeah, you're not interested in what other people are doing.
No, because
so
it doesn't really affect
there.
you.
No.
It's not gonna like really. It can kind of affect you if they take the last of like something you were trying to make,
but not really.
I don't think that's literally ever happened. So.
No.
But it's a super fun one. Highly recommend.
These are the epitome of you can play them with more people,
But
just don't. Just don't do it. These are games where you can get more done or you can get more things done faster with less people, and we enjoy these games a lot. These are some of our top games that we've ever played. This one here is Terraforming Mars, and we also have played the dice game. We have not played the card game, and we like the dice game pretty much equally. It depends on the mood you're in, I think.
Yeah.
If you're in for something a little bit lighter, I would go for the dice game. If you're in for something a little heavier, I would go for the regular Terraforming Mars. This game is a game that you can play with more players. It is like another long one, but you're all working towards like one goal. So with the more people you have, the faster the goal comes, the less you get to do. It is a good game for larger player counts in the fact that it does finish about the same amount of time because you're all working towards the end goal. So whenever you're playing with two people, it is probably going to be a similar play length if you all play at the same speed. For 3 or 4 people, I think that it's going to be a very similar play time, but you just don't get to finish as much. But it is a little bit of a heavier game, but it is one that after you play 1 or 2 times, I feel like you are very familiar with the symbols along with this one. After you play 1 or 2 times, you get more familiar with the cards, the symbols, and it does speed up. They are just games that I feel like the first couple of times they are intimidating, but they are best at 2 players.
I would say with Ark Nova, like for me personally, it really depends who you're playing with. Because I feel like I don't have an issue when it's you, me, and Nick playing because we've all played this game a million times and we all just know what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you have like a bunch of like expert Ark Nova players, then I think 3 is okay. Definitely not 4, but 3 is all right. But definitely preferred at 2 because otherwise, again, like this game says it's 90 to 150 minutes.
I think with 4 people, it could be pushing 150, depending on who you're playing with.
So I just don't want to play the same game, really. A game like this, where, again, I feel like your turns can sometimes take a bit because this will trigger this, will trigger this. And so when you're playing, it's still another way you're waiting a long time for your turn to come.
The only thing I like at higher player counts is you have more opportunities to do the conservation projects.
Yeah, because they do have like special setup rules for 2-player to block off some things with the donations and the conservation projects.
At 2 players, do you also start a little bit later, or is that 1 player? That's 1 player where you start later. Yeah. I've played this at 1 player. This is one of my favorite games I've played single player too. So if you are a single player gamer, this one's really fun, but you can also play on BGA. I think you can play both. Can you play both of them on BGA?
Yes,
this one has its own app.
I think they're both premium games on BGA, so you have to have like the paid membership.
If you want to try it out, just
play them.
Just request Hannah.
Because I can start the game and invite you.
It works out. And that, my friends, is all of our recommendations for the good old 2-player games. We have more recommendations, but these are our top games. If you only have one other person that you are playing with, then these are the ones that we would say, go for it. I have bought in these games for people that only have one other person to play with and they have enjoyed them, and I just recommend them very much so. And let us know in the comments down below what your favorite 2-player game is, because we're 2 people.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for 2-player games.
And additionally, if you guys are interested, we could probably also do a video of favorite games to play with 5+ players.
That's a good one, because I feel like there's a lot of games you can play with 5 people, but we do have favorites for 5 players. So let us know if that's something you're interested in the comments down below. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you in our next video. Bye!